Kevin Flynn.
Rebecca Lavoie.
It's time for another Readathon.
Oh my goodness. So many things have been going on.
Guess what? We're probably going to have to do another one tomorrow.
Okay.
Because there's a huge hearing tomorrow, which I will tell you about. Mm-hmm. But there was a hearing today, and there was one big development at this hearing that I'm not going to save for later in this episode.
All right.
The federal investigation is, in fact, over.
Okay.
According to hired Commonwealth prosecutor Hank Brennan, and then a public statement released by Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty basically say that the feds have said that there is no longer any federal investigation into the investigation of John O'Keefe's death and any related matters. It is closed. It is over.
Interesting.
Yes, and media outlets have been trying to contact the U.S. State's Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
And they have not commented. And, there's some question as to whether or not what this means. Is there a larger investigation that's not over? Is this over? But as far as I'm concerned, the thing that we've been kind of waiting for to have something happen is probably not going to happen. It is, in fact, over. Thoughts?
Okay. If they follow usual Justice Department protocol, they will not confirm or deny the existence of a case or whether one was, covered. But I guess that we hear that through the other legal channels, just because we heard it from the state and the police who are the supposed targets of the investigation, just because they say so.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to have to take their word on it. But it is, I don't think it's good news for Karen Read, because I thought that the federal investigation was certainly the card in the back pocket. I don't know. Do you carry cards in your back pocket? It certainly seemed like something that they'd be able to use later on. But they certainly have reaped the benefits of that investigation.
Yes. What's interesting to me is whether or not the materials from that investigation will continue to have the power and weight they did. The bottom line is all these witnesses did, in fact, testify in front of a federal grand jury. They're on record.
Yeah.
As saying certain things. And there is a lot of material that the feds gave them because there was, in fact, an investigation. No one can deny that there isn't one or there wasn't one, which was one of the anti-Karen Read talking points. There's there's no such thing. It's not happening, which just was never true. And the other thing that's interesting is that Karen Read said today outside of court that as of just like 4 weeks ago, she got a 4-page single-space letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office saying the investigation was ongoing.
Okay.
That letter included other things. Then we heard this other judge say...
Interesting communication.
Yes.
All right.
And then we heard
the idea that they would write to her.
Yes. I think it was a response of an inquiry into matters relating to ARCA.
Okay.
That's what she said outside the courthouse. But also that today, Hank Brennan said he found out this was over on the 18th, and then he called the defense on the 26th to tell them.
Okay.
So he knew for a week.
Yeah, sure.
And clearly he leaked it to the media because the media reported it like right after the 18th. So yeah. So which actually brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because in one of the motions filed by the Commonwealth this past week, which came up today in the hearing, was a motion to sanction the defense.
Okay.
Hank Brennan wanted the defense to be sanctioned because in one of their motions, like one of the motions they filed, they quoted a text from former disgraced trooper Michael Proctor, who's technically not former yet, but
Okay, yeah.
He's been sidelined. They quoted a text message of his where he called Attorney Jackson an asshole, and he was basically like, that was impounded. They shouldn't have been able to quote that in the thing. Plus, they make statements outside of court all the time that make Guarini look bad, that make Tully look bad. It's improper. So he wants them sanctioned.
Okay.
So that was taken under advisement today. Basically, Yannetti, to that allegation about the Proctor thing, he was like, that's on me. I didn't connect the dots that would be an impounded thing. So that was on me. Which actually brings up another weird thing that happened during the hearing today.
Okay.
At the very beginning of the hearing, Judge Beverly Cannoni confronted and then kind of reprimanded the defense.
Okay.
Made them each stand up one at a time, which I've never seen before, and said to them, do you understand that when one of you speaks, you're speaking for all of you? So you can't do this thing where you say, somebody files a motion and says so-and-so wasn't included on that motion, so they wouldn't have known XYZ. Or somebody sent an email, and because Yannetti wasn't CC'd on the email, he wouldn't have known XYZ. She said, when one of you knows something, you all have to know something, and vice versa. They all said, yeah, I understand. Weirdly, she's never asked Hank Brennan that question because he's saying all the time that he just came on the case, he's catching up, he doesn't know stuff. And he's always saying stuff, filing stuff, doing stuff that contradicts earlier things that Lally said in court, did, or filed.
Right.
He's never been called on it. He's also never been interrupted while he speaks in court. And the defense is interrupted constantly by the judge. She seems really annoyed with them, angry with them. She's kind of over them. And it's weird. It's honestly so visible that even sort of some anti-Karen Read lawyer types who are just like claiming to be neutral but are very skeptical, they're like, yeah, we've never seen this before.
Yeah.
Like she seems to really kind of have it out for them.
Yeah. Now, wasn't there one of these motions that had to do with judicial ruling or judicial conduct that they said that in most other cases would mean this would get kicked to a different judge?
Well, we haven't gotten to that motion to dismiss yet.
Okay, all right.
That was supposed to come up today.
Okay.
Today, they started today's docket.
But your larger point about whether Bev is over the defense, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think she's over them too. And it doesn't help that Robert Alessi, the newer attorney on the team, seems to know a fuck ton about the law. And
more than the judge.
And when she asks him questions that are sort of designed to trip him up, like at one point today, she asked him, for a list of sources of articles that he used in one of his arguments, one of his more sciencey type arguments. He was like, I have the list right here. She goes, did you Google that? And he says, no, I didn't Google that. I spoke to the former chair of the National Science Foundation. The National Academy of Science, or one of those big ones.
Yeah.
So he's just like, no, I didn't Google it. Is that what you're used to with these clowns? That's not what I do. And she seems to sort of be over it. And there was this tussle today about the pause email. Remember he spoke about the pause email, the email that put a pause on ARCA and the defense talking about compensation or et cetera, because, they had spoken to the feds and the feds said, hold off on that. And it was this whole thing where he was just like, Your Honor, with all due respect, I'm not interpreting this law the same way you interpret it. Like, this isn't, when you talk about sanctions or whatever, and the way the law is written, it's about a lawyer. It's not about a team of lawyers. It's about a lawyer.
Right. And
if somebody said something without knowing differently, they absolutely would not qualify for whatever this sanction or what you're talking about is, because it says it right here.
Right.
He's like, and it's not my interpretation, it's what it says.
Right. But I'm guessing here that other than like a contempt of court thing, that she has the discretion to submit and enforce there. If she doesn't give sanctions, she recommends sanctions to a professional conduct board, right? Or the bar association. Well, the big question now is she going to revoke Alan Jackson's ability to be on this case in Massachusetts? Okay. His pro hoc vice submission. She can revoke that. Okay. Potentially. Okay. The other thing is that Hank Brennan today, you know what sanction he asked for? No. That any filing filed by the defense be reviewed by the judge, and I think by him, before it was allowed to be like unsealed and be out in the public. That's the sanction he wants. Huh. Yeah. That doesn't sound like anything I've heard of before. It sounds weird, right? Yeah. Okay. So that happened today. So a couple of other more tangible things that happened in the hearing today. There was a couple of motions talked about. One of them was a motion to exclude Dr. Crosby. He is the Commonwealth's new dog bite expert, alleged dog bite expert. Okay. And this was interesting. Alessi was basically like, this dude is plainly not qualified, and his methodology is both unreliable and undocumented. Okay. This guy from a company that is, I think it's called Canine Aggression, or like, and then he calls his profession is, quote, certified dog behavior consultant. So listen to what this guy did. Okay. He took measurements of the bite of a dog that is purported to be Chloe, with no documentations that dog is Chloe. Okay. No documentation. There's no chip. There's no like clear. This is like the dog bite mold that was it Buchanan or somebody went to?
Yes.
But no, okay.
So he basically anesthetized the dog, took these dog bite impressions, and then applied the measurements of the dog bite to photos of John O'Keefe's arm. He didn't use any of the scientifically approved measurement guidelines they do with photography. Instead, he used the wristband, the hospital wristband, to approximate measurements on the arm.
For scale. Okay.
He
the width
cited
of that I could see,
Yes.
but again, and it's also a one-dimensional or a two-dimensional surface. But okay,
That's right. He cited no studies nor publications that say this is a permissible way to determine whether a bite is from a dog. If you see all these reports, they all have all these footnotes.
Yeah.
There was no footnotes, no citations on this report. Alessi says he did not account for movement on the arm,
right.
which Dr. Russell says when someone dog bites you, you don't just sit there.
Yeah, right, right.
Didn't account for that. Didn't account for the change in dogs' teeth. Apparently, dog teeth change constantly. And I can tell you, as an owner of 2 dogs, that's fucking true.
Yeah.
We've seen it. Like, all of a sudden, your bottom they're all crowded or whatever. It happens within like a year or two. And this is an older dog because I think that they had said that they'd had her for 9 years when they rehomed her. Brennan got up then and said Dr. Crosby's opinion is based on facts of the case and not hypotheticals. He was a longtime police officer, and then he got involved in canine forensics. But basically, Alessi says that's bunk. And then this weird thing happened.
Forensic odontology in any case is just junk science.
Exactly.
I mean, it completely is. And then you're going to apply it to a dog. You can probably exclude in some cases, but as far as, if a dog is missing an incisor and there's bite marks, and you're like, no, this dog, the dog that did this had 2 incisors, you might say, well, okay, well, there's a strong possibility this isn't a match and we can exclude them.
That's right.
The idea that you can match definitively is just the basis of so many wrongful convictions in people. I can't fucking believe that. I can't believe that courts still allow this. But
fun fact.
Yeah.
Forensic odontology has been debunked in multiple studies. There's books about it.
Yeah.
Lally, in court, in his voir dire and cross-examination of Dr. Russell, said forensic odontology has been completely debunked.
Yeah.
So that's been said by the Commonwealth in court.
Right. But they're still going to do it.
But you know what? Brennan didn't know that because he's just catching up with the case. So, okay. So she's taken that under advisement, this whole Dr. Crosby thing.
Okay.
Interestingly, lawyer Richard Venstein, somebody on Twitter that comments on a lot of this stuff, he's a lawyer, obviously. He said, now Judge Cannoni is literally coaching Hank Brennan on how to defeat the defense motion on the Commonwealth's dog bite pseudo-expert, asking for a supplementation of materials that Hank did not submit with his opposition. She said to him, and I saw this, this might fly if you submitted X, Y, and Z. She has never said anything like that to the defense, ever.
Right.
She'll sometimes say, where's this? And, someone will say, oh, I'll get that to you. She goes, I don't see it here. And they're like, well, we have it. We'll get it to you. Is that from Google? That's the kind of thing she says to them. And with him, she's like, so here's what would happen. Here's what would make this go. It's very strange. The next motion up today was the defenses wanting to exclude the Commonwealth expert named Gilman. He's the forensic meteorologist. All right.
Yeah.
Basically, Alessi says he talked about meteorology, how it works, and he says you need a geologist. There's actually a deeply complex way to determine the hardness of a ground in any particular day and any particular temperature. And according to Alessi, Gilman did not do that in his report. Brennan says, I don't need Gilman to talk about the ground that day. I just want him to talk about how ground freezes. So those were the motions that happened
Commonwealth
today.
of Massachusetts is going to pay that guy to come in and give that science lesson.
Yes.
To give that 6th grade science lesson.
Yes.
Okay.
So now back to the whole federal prosecution thing. This is about the time in the hearing where this came up. Brennan brought it up with regard to one of the motions. He said, I'm allowed to say this in court now, yada, yada, yada. Brennan also asked for a gag order on all the attorneys involved on the defense side, meaning that they would not be allowed to talk to the media. They wouldn't be able to talk to anybody outside the courtroom. He said, of course, this would not apply to Ms. Reed, but
we'd love for her to talk.
Yeah, we need a gag order on these people. So one of the things that I want to mention is that apparently there was a gag order was actually asked for in July of 2023, and it was denied by Bev Cannoni. So he's been leaking information about the Fed prosecution being over, but he wants a gag order on Karen's attorneys, which I would think he wouldn't want, because the more stuff they say out loud, the more trouble they get into.
They keep they keep trying to subpoena everything that they say in public.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Are they tired of doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the final thing that happened today was about what's going to happen later this week. And this went on for a surprisingly long time. Okay. Basically, the defense wants more time to prepare. They're arguing of the Commonwealth's opposition to the motion to dismiss, which I want to talk about not today. I want to talk about it tomorrow for reasons. But spoiler alert, it was all like this. Wasn't me. Wasn't my fault. Wasn't me. Wasn't my fault. Brennan basically said all the stuff around the videos, Canton. Ask not me.
Right.
Is Canton. Canton. I don't know. At one point he says Lally. I don't know. Not me.
Yeah.
Is that kind of thing. It's really interesting. So
yeah, it's interesting, certainly based on her directions to the defense.
Right.
About you all hang together.
Right.
Because with one of you says, it's what all of you say.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
It's such a weird pattern.
It is a weird pattern.
And then the other thing that happened during the scheduling conversation was they were talking about arguing the motion to dismiss on Friday, right? And then there was something else that Brennan wanted to argue about Friday, but he hadn't filed the stuff yet. And I swear to God, Judge Cannoni said to him, well, can you make the argument on Friday and then file it after? At which point Attorney Elizabeth Little says, could we be extended the same courtesy? Could we have a little more time for the thing we need to prepare, maybe argue it and then file? And she was like, well, I need to read what it is you're going to file before. And it was just so silly. And then finally, Alan Jackson says, I need to talk to Attorney Little for a second. And it was like, and then he gets up and he says, I want to argue the motion to dismiss tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm ready tomorrow. So they are going to federal court tomorrow morning to argue in front of the federal court her habeas corpus petition on those 2 counts that they say the jury should have been polled about.
Right.
Then they're going to go to Beverly Cannoni's courtroom for an action-packed fucking hearing. And one of the things it's going to include, many other things, but the main thing it's going to include is the defense motion to dismiss, their full-throated motion to dismiss the charges against Karen Read with prejudice.
Not going to happen, but okay.
All right. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But that argument is going to happen tomorrow. And today's hearing was weird, wild.
They're definitely putting a lot of stuff on that could be appealable.
Oh,
right. I mean, yeah. I kind of get where Bev is coming from in the sense that this defense team has been a pain in her ass. And if this had been any other homicide case, it'd be over by now.
Wait, why
right?
hasn't the prosecution been a pain in her ass?
Well, because in any other case, the defense would have done this amount and the case would be over.
Yeah.
And this defense, which is super rigorous, and everybody should get the same kind of defense, but they are going after so the gloves are off and no holds are barred. They are trying, all sorts of appeals. They're making her do a lot of work, reading motions and doing stuff, and being really aggressive in court.
Right.
So this isn't the typical put them on the assembly line and churn out this murder trial and the next murder trial. I mean, it's like they've been doing this for like more than a year now, right?
Yeah.
And they are definitely the reason why people know Judge Beverly Cannoni's name.
Right. Just one of the things that I wanted to mention is going to be argued this week as well. Beverly Cannoni denied a lot of the motions filed by the defense, including this request for all of the metadata with the videos. Okay?
Yeah.
Which I think is absurd because you can't even verify that they're real if they don't have metadata attached. You can't verify when they were recorded, when they were copied, if they were manipulated. You can't verify any of that.
Right.
Elizabeth Little filed a motion for the defense asking her to reconsider that. That is going to be one of the things that's argued, I believe, tomorrow. And in their filing of that, they actually have a great affidavit from their video expert explaining why it is so important to have this metadata. Yeah,
it seems self-evident for anybody that's ever looked at a save as date on any file.
That's right. And one of the things that came up this week, a bunch of, Twitter sleuths, including Olivia Lambo, reposted this. There's actually a photo of when the Commonwealth put up one of their video displays during the trial. You know how there's a projection from their computer? It was a page that showed the folder with videos in it. And there were videos in there that were never disclosed, file names.
The icons.
The icons.
Oh, okay.
And in one of the video screenshots, so there's a video screenshot that shows allegedly shows, I've never seen this before, Karen Read's car at night and you see a busted out taillight. Mm-hmm. This was incredible to me. When you look at the top rail, you know where you can see all your icons are open? Mm-hmm. One of the icons that was open was Photoshop.
Photoshop. Okay.
One of the programs that was open.
Yeah. Photoshop is good for getting in and looking at different things, like a super deep dive. But we also know what Photoshop is used for.
Right. Premiere was open and Photoshop was open.
Right.
Anyway, that doesn't mean anything. I'm just telling you what some Twitter sleuths have said. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited to see tomorrow's hearing and what it brings. But today's was, a little bit of a firecracker hearing. I'll post a link to video of it in this Readathon show notes update. Mm-hmm. And Kevin, do you have any thoughts going into this motion to dismiss? You think it's going to be a no for sure, right?
Yeah, I don't see Bev going for it because she certainly has not. I mean, you have to buy into the idea that there's been some bad faith on the part of the prosecution in order to dismiss the whole case. And she certainly has not indicated in court at all that she feels that way.
No.
So
unless she's really holding her cards close to her chest.
Unless she's really holding her cards up. Unless there is one particular argument in there, like one particular thing that trips them up. And that, I doubt this would be dismissed with prejudice. I don't know. I just don't see her doing that. But they continue to lay the groundwork for a lot of appealable stuff.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it broadly. Mm-hmm. There was so much stuff allowed into evidence at this trial that was on its face improper. Mm-hmm. Screenshots of text messages being called evidence. Assertions that there were remnants of glass found in John O'Keefe's shirt, when, by the way, a taillight is made of plastic. But also, there was no evidence of any kind presented into evidence that showed that, just over and over and over assertions, but it was called evidence. There was just, perjury, open court perjury on behalf of multiple witnesses. There's a lot there, a lot of there. The bottom line is, though, I think the defense's straight up aggression, if you're going to be seen as unlikable by the institution, that could really be held against you. I don't see them as unlikable. I see them as being like crusaders for truth and justice. But if you're inclined to be more skeptical, you could just be like, these people are just fucking pains in the ass. So I see what you mean there. All right. Well, we'll be back. Likely tomorrow.
All right.
Maybe the following day. It goes really long. With a new edition of the Readathon, and we will be talking about that argument of the motion to dismiss and a lot more. Kevin, will you join me for that?
I have no choice. I will be summoned.
Can't wait. Thanks so much.
Partners in Crime Media.